Hi guys, welcome to Glittery Crystals. I will show you how I made this watercolor tumbler. I am in love with the way it all came together. I'm just in love with this cup. I decided that I wanted to make a cup for my 30th birthday, which is coming up February 15, 2021. I am leaving the two-digit behind me. I'm very excited for what's to come. And yes, let's get started with this cup. The first thing that we will be doing is applying some tape on the bottom of the cup. That way, if I accidentally drop my cup, it will not damage the epoxy. The epoxy will not crack. So with this design, I wanted to, keep the stainless steel showing from the bottom. It's up to you if you want to epoxy the entire cup. This is a spray paint that we will be using, but before that we need to prep our cup. We are sanding it with a 220 grit sandpaper. Once we have sanded the entire tumbler, I will be using 91% rubbing alcohol with this coffee filter to remove any of that sanded metal. Afterwards, we will let it dry for a minute, spray paint it, and we will make sure that our spray paint has fully dried before continuing with the next step. Don't forget to remove the electrical tape. Now we have added a second piece of electrical tape around the bottom. This is the glitter that we will be using, Senorita from our collection. I'm in love with this pink. I am a pink girl and this is a very beautiful pink. I will leave the links down below if you are interested. So the way that I will be adhering the glitter to my tumbler is using the epoxy method. I mixed 10 mLs, 5 part A, 5 part B, and I only used 5 total. This is a 30-ounce curved tumbler and I only used 5 mLs total. And the way that you are making sure that you have enough epoxy is once you rub your fingers and you don't see those streaks, that's indication that you have enough epoxy. You are supposed to use a little bit of force to slide your finger throughout the cup. So after I have applied my epoxy, I let it spin for about a minute so the epoxy evens out. And once the minute has passed, I will start applying my glitter. So I usually start from the top and the bottom, the edges. After I have fully covered the edges, I will cover the rest of the cup. 2 ounces of glitter. It covers about, I want to say about 4 to 6 cups, depending how many layers of glitter you add to it. So now we will let it spin for 6 to 8 hours until it has cured. Don't forget to remove your tape. I usually leave it between 30 and 35 minutes after I have finished applying the epoxy. Once the 6 to 8 hours have passed, I will use my brush and gently remove any of that excess glitter. Again, we will tape the bottom and I will be using this quick coat just to give it, just to seal the glitter before I apply my epoxy. This quick coat usually dries very quickly. I believe I waited 25 minutes before I applied my first layer of epoxy. And I'm just cleaning the edge. I'm just going to be constantly cleaning the edge after I remove every layer of tape. And here I mixed 20 mLs total of epoxy, 10 part A, 10 part B. And I will give it a pass with my torch or heat gun if you prefer to pop those bubbles. And again, let it spin for 6 to 8 hours until it has cured enough to the touch. These are the vinyls that I will be using. 30 and Fabulous. I will be using some hearts and some butterflies. So right here, you will see that I am measuring. I'm just trying to make sure that it's as even as possible. And when you are applying vinyl, you want to make sure that you are smoothing out the vinyl. Don't mind if the transfer tape is creasing up on you. What you should be worried is that your vinyl lays as flat as possible. That is your goal. Once you remove that transfer tape, just go back and smooth out your vinyl. Make sure it's very well pressed. So wherever I put my vinyl, that's the part that it's gonna let the glitter be exposed. It's up to you how much or how little vinyl you want to add, or how many shapes or letters you want to add to your cup. After I have applied all my vinyl, I will use some of that rubbing alcohol to remove any of the fingerprints. And we will apply another strip of tape. So now we will be using this white spray paint to cover our entire cup. After we have applied our spray paint, please let it dry. As you can see, it's still wet. I will be removing the electrical tape at this point, but I will let it sit for a few more hours because I want my spray paint to be fully dry before I continue with the next step. I have all my alcohol inks here in some medicine cup, and the clear liquid that you see on the right side is alcohol. So I will just go back and forth adding my alcohol. Initially, I added some alcohol. I wasn't sure how strong that first shade of pink was going to be. I wanted a lighter pink. That's why I added that alcohol. But afterwards, I decided to just apply that alcohol ink directly. So once we have a spot with alcohol ink, I am going back with adding some of that alcohol. And what it will do is that it will make it look more runny. And as I am applying that alcohol, I am blowing on the paint. So I'm spreading it out. There's no right or wrong design, shades of colors to each cup. Every cup is unique. You go with the flow. I love this purple shade. I really enjoyed how it came out. And yes, as you can see, I'm just scribbling, adding some alcohol, and spreading the love. This is my quiet time. I really enjoyed this step. So this is how it looks after it has been completed. We will let it fully dry. Make sure that your alcohol ink has fully dried, and we will carefully start peeling off that vinyl. You can see where the vinyl is because it's not a thick texture of spray paint. So you can see exactly where it is, but you have to be very careful. I used a very thin font for the words, for the lettering, and I just wished I would have added a thicker and bold letters so it would have stand out more, but I like it the way it is. And this is how it looks. In person, it shimmers so much. I just love how this pink shimmers. And I am trying to cover up, I'm trying to correct these scratches that I made with my fingers. So I was laying my fingers on top of the cup while I was removing the vinyl. And don't worry if you have any scratches or whatever you have in your cup. You can just go back with some more alcohol that you have left over and just smear some spots. There's no way anybody will guess that you went back and corrected it. So we will be adding our foil. I am using this tacked glue. Links are in the bottom on the description below. And with this thin brush, I am making a line where I will be applying my foil. I did 2 strips of foil, which Later on, I decided that I just wanted to add some spots instead of lines. They're all the same way. Everything has been created the same way. So I added the tacket glue directly to the cup. It was not watered down, directly from the bottle to the cup. And after I added the foil, I will be using my brush to remove any of that excess foil. And keep those shavings. Those shavings of foil, keep them because those we will be using those to cover the rest of the cup. And as you can see there, I actually rested my cup on the towel or on the napkin, and it actually got stuck to the napkin. And once I flipped it over, I will see that there's small scratches on the back, which I went back and I fixed it the same way with the alcohol. As you can see here, I'm trying to fix them. So there's this spot where I did notice, I went back, I fixed it, and I am continuing to add that foil. So I decided to add just small spots of foil, just some, to just give it an accent instead of a strip. I'm in love how this purple shade of alcohol ink looks with this gold foil. I'm just in love with this cup. Once you are satisfied with your foil, this is how it's supposed to look. You can see that sparkle. It's very hard to capture the sparkle of a glitter, but you kind of got that hint from that view. This is the clear enamel that I will be using to seal my alcohols and my foil. I accidentally scratched the cup with my nails, but I will leave it as is. It's very hard to see, to notice these scratches. I think it's a unique cup. I will leave it as is, and I will be using this additive, this rainbow additive. It's gonna give it that extra sparkle. I am just using this very tiny amount of additive to a 30 mLs of epoxy. It's up to you if you want to add more of this additive, but for me, it was the perfect amount. I just wanted to give it, I just wanted this cup to have that extra sparkle, but I didn't want the additive to overpower the rest of the cup. There's a lot going on with this cup. So you can see here the tiny specks of glitter. So after that, we will apply our epoxy. And the same process, we apply our epoxy, we pass the torch or the heat gun to pop those bubbles, and after 30-35 minutes we remove the electrical tape and we let it spin for 8 hours. Look how beautiful this cup is. I'm just in love with this cup. So after it has cured for 8 hours, we will go back with some sanding paper, 220 sanding paper, and I am just sanding the rim, and I will only sand the parts that I see that need a bit of sanding. This cup, since we didn't actually add that much glitter to it and there is not many bumps to it, I'm just passing my finger and making sure that I sand every speck that needs a bit of sanding. And again, I will be using my alcohol to remove any of that dust. And once I have done that, I will be using acetone, 100% pure acetone with the new napkin. And I will be removing any of that spray paint that has gone inside of the cup. I am cleaning the cup before the last layer of epoxy. And when I was spray painting the cup pink, some of it went on the bottom. Again, you just need a little bit of that acetone with a napkin and it will come right off. So once your cup is ready, it's been cleaned, let it sit for a few minutes until it's fully dried. In the meantime, I like to mix my epoxy while it's drying. In this last layer, I am not adding any additive. I'm not adding any sparkle. If you want to, if you decided that that amount of sparkle was not enough, that you wanted a little bit of more, you can add it to this layer. I used 20 mLs this last layer. And there you go. This is the steps that it took me to create this beautiful tumbler. I'm just in love. I can't stop staring at this cup. It just calls my name. All these girly colors, all this glitter. I'm just in love with the way it turned out. I hope you are inspired to make a recreation of this cup. If you do, please, please, please share a picture of your tumbler. Share it with us on Instagram or Facebook. I am more actively on Instagram. But please share with us a picture. If you like this kind of videos, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We are having more cups coming up very soon, and I hope you really enjoyed this cup. It was a pleasure for me to create this video for you guys, and yes, hope to see you back soon. Bye-bye.